Welcome. We are diving into one of the biggest management puzzles of our time, remote work. In this explainer, we're building the ultimate playbook for remote team success. And we're going to turn those common challenges that keep managers up at night into your team's absolute greatest strengths. Let's get right into it.
So, let's just start with a really direct question, one that a lot of managers are asking themselves right now. As remote work goes from being a temporary fix to a permanent reality, the big question isn't just, is it working, but how well could it be working? Look, a lot of employers have been thrilled to see productivity hold steady, sometimes even improve. But let's be real, without the structure of an office, it's totally natural for some employees to struggle with focus or feel a little disconnected. So how do you unlock that next level of performance for everybody?
And that really brings us to the new reality. What started as a rapid-fire response to a global event, well, it's settled into the new standard of work. The game has totally changed. This isn't about temporary measures anymore, it's about building a sustainable, long-term strategy that really harnesses that incredible flexibility of remote work while navigating a completely new set of challenges.
This slide, man, it really gets to the heart of the matter for managers. On one side, you have the dream, right? Ultimate flexibility, happier employees, a genuinely better work-life balance. But then, on the other side, there's the fear. That nagging feeling of losing control, the worry that productivity might just plummet, and the very real risk of your team culture just slowly disconnecting. So how do we get all of the dream with none of the fear? Well, that's exactly what this playbook is for.
Okay, let's dive into our first play. This is all about tackling the biggest, most sneaky threat to any remote team's success: distance. And I'm not just talking about physical distance, but that emotional and professional distance that can creep in when you're not sharing an office. While everyone needs some quiet time to focus, let's face it, working from home can start to feel incredibly isolating, fast. All those natural, spontaneous interactions that happen in an office, the little chit-chat by the coffee machine, the quick question over a cubicle wall, poof, they're gone. And this void can lead directly to feelings of disengagement, which is basically a silent killer of both morale and productivity.
And that's why you have to be so deliberate about creating connection. A great first step is scheduling regular face-to-face time, even if it's just a quick video call to say hello. But here's the real key. As a manager, you have to intentionally create space for non-work banter. Ask what people did over the weekend, about trips they have coming up, how their families are doing. It's about actively rebuilding that casual social fabric of the office.
And this is where we can all learn from each other. Every team is different. What works for one might not work for another. So we genuinely love to hear from you. What's the best strategy, or maybe the most creative idea you've used to keep your remote team feeling connected? Drop your best tips in the comments below. Your experience could seriously help another manager build a stronger, happier team.
But hey, fostering a real connection goes way beyond just casual chat and virtual coffees. It's about making sure your team feels seen, heard, and valued for the actual work they're doing. In a remote setup, it's way too easy for good work to become invisible, and that is a fast track to disengagement.
So the solution is to build a system for recognition so it never falls through the cracks. When you're not seeing people in person, giving those words of affirmation might not happen as naturally. So be purposeful. Set a calendar reminder if you have to. Acknowledge wins publicly in Slack or email. And here's a brilliant idea. Encourage your team to be their own PR person. If they get positive feedback, tell them to forward it to you. It might feel a little awkward at first, but it is your job as a manager to create a culture where celebrating success is totally normal and expected.
All right, let's move on to our second play. Once your team feels connected, the next step is to engineer an environment that lets them do what you hired them for: great, focused work. This is all about being intentional with how the workday itself is structured.
In the remote world, we're fighting two major enemies of productivity. First, you've got the endless stream of digital interruptions, the pings, the emails, the notifications that just shatter deep focus. And second, there's that old model of a rigid 9-to-5 schedule that really doesn't leverage the main benefit of working from home. So what are the solutions? Carving out truly undisturbed time and embracing something we like to call structured flexibility.
A really powerful strategy here is to create sacred, protected time for deep work. A lot of companies have started No Meeting Wednesdays, where absolutely no one is allowed to schedule meetings for the entire day. Now, if you can't clear a whole day, block out windows of 3 to 4 hours. During these focus blocks, your employees should feel completely empowered to put Slack on Do Not Disturb and just get into that state of flow, completely uninterrupted.
Okay, now let's talk about that second solution: structured flexibility.
I mean, one of the best perks of working from home is being able to handle personal stuff. But flexibility doesn't mean a free-for-all. It's about setting clear boundaries. For example, you might require people to be immediately available on Slack during core business hours. This gives them freedom while making sure the team stays connected and accountable.
This whole idea of focus blocks has been a total game changer for so many teams, and we're really curious to hear about your experience. Have you implemented no meeting days or dedicated focus time? How's it impacted your team's output, or maybe just their overall happiness? Let us and the whole community know in the comments.
Now for our third and honestly most foundational play. This one addresses a sensitive but absolutely critical part of managing a remote workforce. It's all about laying the groundwork of safety and professionalism that allows connection and flexibility to really truly thrive.
Okay, so this is a topic that some managers might want to avoid, but it's so important to address it head-on. Just because an employee is working from the comfort of their home doesn't mean they have free rein to do whatever they want while they're on the clock. You're paying them to do a job, and that comes with professional expectations no matter where they're located.
And the risks here are incredibly serious. Beyond the obvious hit to productivity, substance use increases the likelihood of costly errors and even workplace accidents. And this is especially risky for employees who work directly with your customers, because their behavior directly impacts your company's reputation and safety.
So how do you protect your team, your customers, and your business? Well, your first and most important line of defense is a clear, comprehensive, and well-communicated drug-free workplace policy. This is the bedrock of a professional remote environment. It sets clear expectations that create a safe and predictable space for everyone on the team.
Now, for remote teams, there's a key clarification that needs to be made. Your company might already have a policy, but it needs to be explicitly updated to state that it applies to employees during their designated work hours, regardless of their physical location. This removes all ambiguity and just makes sure everyone is on the exact same professional page.
And the great news is, upholding that policy doesn't have to be some logistical nightmare. Having a clear policy is step one, but consistent implementation is everything. Partnering with a provider like RadiCollect, which has a nationwide network of collection sites, makes it simple to manage this process fairly and professionally for your entire team. It ensures a safe and accountable environment for everyone, no matter where they work.
So, we've covered connection, productivity, and accountability. But these aren't just three separate tactics. They are the core pillars of a thriving remote culture. Let's huddle up and see how these plays work together to create a winning strategy for the long term.
When you put it all together, the logic is just so powerful. First, you build trust by connecting your team on a human level. Then, on that foundation of trust, you engineer a workflow with focus and flexibility that empowers them to do their best work. And underpinning everything, you establish a clear foundation of safety and accountability that protects the team and the business. This is how you build a resilient, high-performing culture that can thrive absolutely anywhere.
Ultimately, this all comes down to a simple, powerful idea. Remember that you're all on the same side. Work together to come up with healthy solutions. See, this isn't about top-down control. It's about collaboration, working together to create an environment where everyone is truly set up for success.
If you were inspired by this explainer and it gave you some solid ideas, we'd really appreciate it if you'd like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel, RadiCollect. And feel free to share it as well. Thank you so much for watching.